It's evangelism aimed at an audience that preachers may not be reaching.
We have to win this young hip-hop generation for Jesus Christ, and what we use is hip-hop music.
Our music needs to change.
Somebody doesn't want to be a player. Somebody don't want to be a thug. Somebody wants to live right. Say yeah!
Help us reach a lost generation before it's too late.
The problem is they can't love their neighbor because they don't even love themselves. How can you love somebody when you don't even like you? There are folk in here who don't like themselves. There are folk in here, and the only reason you're always running around and doing this is because you can't stand to be with you. You are mean to folk. You are evil. You are this. You are that. And you actually want them to embrace you, but you run them away because you don't feel like you deserve to be loved. To give the love of God, you first got to receive it. And the reason why people have hate towards one another is because they don't love themselves. I say this, what is the opposite of love? Say it to me, what's the opposite of love? It's not hate. The opposite of love is fear. People fear, our fear of rejection or not being accepted because we think, what's this? If you never receive God's love, then you think God can reject you. There are folk in here that when they're not doing right, or they find themselves in bad places, or caught up in sin, then they start to say, well, God doesn't love me, and he's rejecting me now. And when things bad happen at that moment, you're saying, this is my punishment, and God has turned his back on me. And you never read the word where it said, I will never leave you or forsake you. And you never read the word saying, if you make your bed in hell, I'll be there. And you never read the word, the understanding, most all God's promises are conditional, except the one of love. It is unconditional. God said, I will love you if you mess up every day, because while you were yet a sinner, Christ died for you. I did not love you because of your behavior. I loved you because I could not help myself, and I still can't help myself, and I will continue to love you and not reject you. And there's some people who call themselves loving, but trying to force the other person to live in their world all the time, and that ain't God. Now, for God so loved the world, this is very superficial, I'm going real deep, that he gave, say he gave. Now here's the problem. Love gives. If you want to know if somebody loves you, the evidence of that is that they're a giver. Love gives at the expense of self, which means it's going to cost me to love you. Most folk go into love, it's going to cost you for me to love you. Touch your neighbors, I've been in that relationship. Now, if you've been in that relationship, that's lust. Lust takes at the expense of others. People talk about lust, this thing is just a sexual thing. No, lust is just a selfish, little greedy, somebody, a tick, a parasite who is always trying to pull from you and take from you and never give anything back. And I know some of you want to say amen, but you're sitting next to him. So just wink at me. You can give without loving, but you cannot love without giving. See, there are folk that will give you stuff with motives attached to it, because what they're trying to do at the end of the day is to manipulate you into giving them something. And so it really was not a pure love, it was manipulation. Many of us, when somebody doesn't do what we ask them to do and we're in relationship with them, there are times we will remind them what we did for them. You have now confessed that I never loved you. I was manipulating you for this moment, because now I'm reminding you that I want what I gave you back. But that's not God. Love is unconditional. See, love is not something you do. Can I mess you up? God's sacrificially, when you didn't appreciate it, when you didn't say thank you, when you didn't thank God for the mamas and the daddies and the grandmamas and big mama who kept praying when you were abusing them and robbing them and ripping them off and cussing them out and dishonoring them. There's some folk in here who had godly parents and you know you gave them hell, but they still loved you even when you wasn't loving them back. And look at you now. They loved you into your destiny. That's love.
This is Cheryl. I'm in Denver, and God has just blessed you. Thank you so much.
This is Joshua. Oh my goodness, you blessed me with that broadcast. You don't know how you blessed me. And this is something you can battle the world with, man. I showed it to one of the pastors. They love it.
My name is Bruce. I just want to say thank you, sir. I really love this sermon song. I have volume 1, Pastor Jones and Creflo and all them. Basically, man, I just want to tell you that this has been a blessing in my life.
I know sermon songs and life radio and all that stuff is bumping and you getting your pub, but man, it was a wash away if you come out here to the West Coast. For real.